Welcome to this video on system-wide customization, notebook fields, and queries. System-wide customization is an important administrative tool in maximizing your organization's application of ClearVantage as business needs evolve. There are four main areas of system-wide customization that impact all users in ClearVantage: company information, reference tables, notebook field customization, specifically renaming fields and defining new fields, and query customization. Edits and updates to these four areas will be reflected for each user accessing ClearVantage. As such, it will be important for these updates and changes to be made with consideration to all users of the application. The permissions for these changes are limited to system administrators. Let's continue our review of system-wide customization with notebook fields. ClearVantage allows system administrators to adjust labels and settings for individual fields within each notebook. You can relabel field names to better coordinate with your organization's naming conventions, require a field to be entered via ClearVantage, standardize formats of data, and even change the color. As an example, let's rename the field isTrainerFlag as isTeacher to track our members who also spend time teaching. To do so, from the Administration main menu dropdown, select Customize ClearVantage. On the Field Specifications tab, click on the Table Name dropdown to select the table you wish to modify. If any fields have already been relabeled as a part of your configuration, they will appear in this list. To modify a field label for a field that is not already listed in the field name column, click on the plus sign at the top of the tab. A new row will appear. In the Field Name dropdown, select the field you want to relabel from the dropdown menu in the blank row. This drop-down menu contains all the fields in the customer table. Next, click in the Display Label field and type the new label into the field. Double-click the checkbox in the Required column if you wish to make the field required on the notebook for all roles. You can edit masks in the Edit Mask column to format information in a certain way. For more information on editing masks, download a copy of the ClearVantage Administration Guide from the Euclid support site. You can also change the color of a field by selecting a color from the drop-down menu. Colors can only be applied to certain fields, generally open text fields, in the left grid layout. Once you've made all of your changes, press the checkmark button at the top of the tab to save your changes. As with any type of system-wide customization, you must log out and back into the application to view your changes. Now that we've logged back into ClearVantage, we can see that our isTrainerFlag has been relabeled as isTeacher. We can now track on the individual notebook if our members also spend time teaching. Along with renaming titled fields within ClearVantage, there are additional user-defined fields that can be utilized to track various types of information on the individual, organization, event, product, and subscription notebooks. These fields can be changed to allow the fields to collect data as drop-down, checkbox, radio button, or multi-select fields. Reference values for radio button, drop-down, or multi-select fields can be queried from existing ClearVantage tables or entered as a string. Let's take a look at configuring an additional date field as an example. From the Administration main menu dropdown, select Customize ClearVantage. Click on the UDEF Profile Settings tab and select the appropriate table from the Table Name dropdown. If any fields have already been defined as a part of your configuration, they will appear in this list. To add a new row, click on the plus sign. In the Search Field Name column, select the UDEF field from the dropdown. Only UDEF fields for the table that are not hard-coded for other purposes are available. In this case, we've already defined our user-defined fields 1 through 4, so we will be using user-defined field number 5. Next, choose the type of format you want in the Select Control Type field. Common selections are checkbox, date edit, dropdowns, and text edit. In our case, we'll be using date edit. Next, enter the appropriate data source type in the Select Source Type field. Because we're using date edit, we are not entering any formatting here. Potential options include string, data source, table, and query. In the Select Source Value column, you will enter the appropriate source values. For example, if the select source type is string, you'll enter a list of values separated by commas. Each item on the list will be an option in the field. For more information on configuring the undefined fields as dropdowns, download a copy of the ClearVantage Administration Guide from the Euclid support site. Next, check the visible box for the field to be available in the notebook. Once you've made your changes, click the Save Changes button. As with any system-wide customization, you must close out of the application and log back in to view your changes. Now that we've made these updates, we can now add this date field to the Profile tab of the notebook for the user roles that we wish. For more information on configuring these fields, download a copy of the ClearVantage Administration Guide from the Euclid support site. If you exhaust the user-defined fields on your individual or organization notebook, ClearVantage More User-Defined Fields allow you to add an unlimited number of additional fields to your individual and organization notebooks. If you have the More Settings tab available to you in ClearVantage, download a copy of the ClearVantage Administration Guide for more information on adding and labeling the More UDEF tab. Now that we've had the opportunity to review notebook field customization, let's move to our fourth area of customization, customizing queries. We've added our field isTeacher to track our members. We will want to update our query tool to enable our staff to search for that information. Whereas the Field Specifications tab allows you to customize the labels for fields in various notebooks, the Query Settings tab allows you to label the field names on the individual, organization, event, and product query screens. You can also define the type of entry method, for example, drop-down, checkbox, or radio buttons, and the field values that are available. Additionally, you can show or hide certain search criteria. Let's add our newly labeled field isTeacher to the search query in ClearVantage. In Customize ClearVantage, select the Query Settings tab. Next, select the query window to be modified from the query name dropdown. Click on the plus sign to add an additional query setting, or you can modify the settings that already appear. First, add the search group. The search groups group the fields by category. Each category can be expanded or collapsed to view the fields using the plus minus button in the category header in the query window. For a list of common categories for search groups, download a copy of the ClearVantage Administration Guide. In the Search Table column, enter the name of the table where the field you want to search is stored. In Search Field Name, enter the name of the field you want to search. It will be important to remember that even though we've renamed our field in this case to isTeacher, we will still be searching the field isTrainerFlag. In Search Field Label, you'll be entering the field label that you would like to appear in the query settings. Because we're using this as our isTeacher flag, we'll be entering the name isTeacher. In Search Field Data Type, you will be entering the data type for the value you are searching. This should always be set to S. In Default Match Type, use the drop-down menu to set the default match type to be used in the query. This is often set to equals, but you can use between for date ranges, contains for memo fields, or like to allow wildcard searches using the %sign. In the Select Control Type dropdown, use the menu to choose the appropriate format that will appear in the Search For column of the query window. A few examples include Date Edit for date fields, Text Edit for text fields, and checkboxes for yes/no values like no email flag. In this case, we'll be using a checkbox. Select Source Type, Select Source Value, and Source Field Name fields look familiar to you from customizing our fields. These columns are used in customizing drop-down menus. For more information on configuring these fields, download a copy of the ClearVantage Administration Guide. Lastly, we have order number, visible, and in search. By setting an order number, you are defining where this criteria will appear within its query grouping. By checking the visible and in search options, you are making this criteria visible and enabling the query. When adding a new criteria, these boxes will be checked by default. Once you've completed your row entry, double-check your search group and note where your criteria will appear in the query tool. If you would like to add a new search category or group, download a copy of the ClearVantage Administration Guide for more information. You can also modify the settings for the Not tab in this individual query window. To enter criteria for the Not tab, you will enter the fields as you did in other categories. The biggest difference will be, for the search group, it will be Not category. For more information on adding fields to the Not category, download a copy of the ClearVantage Administration Guide. Once you've made your changes, Press the check mark at the top of the screen or press Save Settings. To view your changes to the query tool, you must log out and log back into ClearVantage. Now that we've logged back into ClearVantage, let's search for individuals who are marked as teachers. Under Membership, select Query Individuals. In our third search group, we have the isTeacher flag, and run our query. There are 6 individuals who are currently marked as teachers in our database. Customizing fields and queries in ClearVantage is an important tool in tracking key customer, organization, product, and subscription information as business needs evolve. Through this customization, ClearVantage empowers system administrators with the flexibility to tailor the application to the current membership environment. For more information on customizing ClearVantage, view our video on customizing ClearVantage, company information, and reference tables, or download a copy of the ClearVantage Administration Guide from the Euclid support site.